would like to correct for violations of the regression assumptions. So one of them could be, for instance, what we have seen in the previous video, is the distribution of the residuals. So as you can see, they're not completely normally distributed. Now, one way to deal with it would be to not take the actual sales, but take the, and let me just call this object differently so we can compare, take the log of the dependent variable. This actually shrinks the variable. So let me just show you how that looks. So let me first show a histogram of sales. And I'm going to place them next to one another so you can really see the difference. Okay, so I'm going to place two plots next to one another, and I'm going to show the histogram of the dependent variable. So as you can see, the sales is somewhat skewed distributed, but if we take the log, it becomes normally distributed, or more normally distributed. As you can also see, the scale now runs from the original scale from 2000 to 10,000, but the log scale is actually from less than 7 until a little bit above 9. So that's really a much smaller scale. Now, if we now take the simple regression, again, we have to interpret these coefficients not in terms of the actual sales, but in terms of the log of sales, which is hard to understand. And that's why usually we take the exponent of the predicted values to get back to the actual prediction. So if we get the summary, we know that on average we would predict 4,660. Well, if we take only the predicted, so if we take the summary of the predicted values, we would get an average of 8.46. Now let's see if indeed the log transformation helped the residuals. So let me just take one, residuals here, and again I'm going to plot it next to one another. And indeed, as you can see, the residual follows largely the distribution of the dependent variable, which is often the case when you have simple regression. If you would add multiple variables, this would be less the case. Now you see that here it is skewed, and when we do the log transformation, it's more normally distributed.